Don't change things because of a 3-9 season or anything like that. Because the excuse me, the type of players that have been coming because of the type of program and the offense that you run, and I hope that they stay with that in the future. Now there was other players, Rocky Lombardi and Connor Haywood on the offensive side, but there was a couple of defensive players that really uh, jumped off the screen, if you will, or really when I'm watching, I'm like, holy cow! And one of them is I don't know if you remember this, but Grayson Miller, number 44, yesterday made every single play. And I want to say Grayson Miller, yes, that Grayson Miller is the one who sacked the quarterback who caused him to fumble in the 2015 University of Michigan State football game that caused the greatest ending in the history of college football. Shout out Jalen Watts Jackson. Shout out. I know he left the program, but if you see this, anytime you want, you'll be a, a member of this. You will be on this show as a guest, however you want to do it. Please hit us up because I love all Spartans, and especially if you humiliate that train wreck in Ann Arbor, you are definitely a friend of this program. But number 44, who started the whole thing in 2015 in Michigan, was a true freshman, is now a junior, and man, he made every single play yesterday. He was running wild, tackling, first team. I mean, he made every play that needed to be made. And it's exciting to see when you have 2 years of eligibility left and they just get it. They work harder than everybody else. They're in the weight room. They just get it. And you're seeing the fruits of his labor paying off right now. So remember that name, Grayson Miller. He's going to be a big factor in Michigan State's defense this year. And another one is Kenny Willekes. Now, this is the guy that was I believe he was a walk-on, and just supreme confidence in himself. No one, you get those 4 and 5 star players that come in here and they're giving the world right off the bat, and I'm guilty of it too because I love them. I love to see the work, but Kenny Willekes doesn't fall into that category. He's one of those self-made grinders that was just out hustling, and he makes a play on every play. I guarantee you, all you hear on that defensive line, Raekwon Williams, Kenny Willekes, Grayson Miller, Joe Bacci, these guys are all over. And that secondary, Kari Willis out of Lumen Christi, Jackson Lumen Christi. I covered him in a playoff game the week before the Ithaca game a couple of years back in 2014, and when he was a senior at Jackson Lumen Christi, and he was a running back, and he just ran all over everybody. He was just bigger and faster than everybody, but he got to Michigan State, and he's had I would say a decent career at Michigan State, but he is primed and ready to go this year. And he was everywhere making plays yesterday. I believe he's going to be a captain along with Joe Bacci and Brian Lewerke. I think this defense is lights out. They are lights out. They are hitting people so hard, and they had people injured. There were so many injuries, or they just held people out yesterday. It was crazy how good these backups played because Michigan State's depth is sick. And Cam Chambers got on the field yesterday, had a decent showing out there. So you put him with Felton Davis and all these receivers, and Michigan State's just got an embarrassment of riches right now. It is crazy. You can tell the how good the coaching staff is because these players have gotten better. They're not the players that get there and 3 years later you just, hey, remember what happened to so? No, that's not them. They get coached up and they put the work in and they're just better. They're better players, And so Kenny Willekes, Grayson Miller, Rocky Lombardi, and Connor Haywood. Don't forget that because those are big names of, I believe, players that will be contributing this season, avoiding injuries. Now, somebody tears an ACL in the first week of fall practice, and they're like, yeah, well, you said, well, I can't help injuries. I'm saying if those players are injury free, they will be everywhere making plays. Coach D'Antonio's got a decision to make with Connor Haywood because everyone's going to be able to see this guy's lights out at tailback. And of course, Rocky Lombardi he's a great quarterback with all of the tools, and I'm excited to see what's coming from Michigan State football. Don't forget, I have not wavered from the fact that, there are such things as homers, and I am by definition a homer. No doubt about it. But I'm also as fair as anyone. And, I never was excited about this basketball season. I didn't believe in them. I did not trust them. It is what it is. They're Spartans, and I'm always with Michigan State. But that team just didn't have it. Whatever it is, they didn't have it. And so I don't know if next year's team will. It's too early to tell. Having said that, this Michigan State football team, leadership, I don't know about Joe Bocci. I don't know about Brian Lewerke. I don't know about Kari Wilson. I don't know about how the leadership and Max Bulla and Connor Cook and the seniors that were on that 2015 team, I don't know if they have that leadership. Talent-wise, this team, this 2018 team, is more talented with better defense than the 2013 team, who was arguably the best defense in the country, and the 2015 team that won the Big Ten championship and played in the college football playoff. It's better than those two teams. So, barring injuries, they have the type of players in there right now that are going to make a deep run, and I'm really excited. If you're a fan of Michigan State, you should be excited. The 2018 season and the schedule sets up well for Michigan State. It really does. They have, Ohio State at home. Notre Dame isn't on the schedule. They get a bye at Michigan. The one game I've said that's going to be a problem is October 13th at Happy Valley, and they're going to have to figure out a way to get past Penn State. And if they do that, Spartan fans, I'm going to need you to book that trip to college football playoff, because they are definitely going. There isn't a team in the Big Ten that can, if they get past Penn State, there's no team on the other side that can see Michigan State. They're just too physical and they're fast, and these guys love to play together. So I'm excited about this season, really excited. I'm not just a homer this year. I'm saying Michigan State is set up for big things down the line. Now, don't forget, I said last week that we were going to have Amp Campbell, number 3, out of Sarasota, Florida, is joining us next. So stay tuned for that, because Amp Campbell is coming on right after this finishes up. Next week, I want to discuss the first place Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, whoever saw that coming, if you go back a couple of weeks, I'm going to say about a month and a half, I had our producer, Eric Schoberg, sitting in on a show with us, and we made pick for the NL West. And he was like, well, who do you see? And I said, I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, it's early, small sample size, but the Arizona Diamondbacks are in first place in the NL West. So congratulations, Diamondbacks. And I told you so. You're welcome. Listen, all you guys that are trying to get some money on betting, tune in to this show, because this is going to go a long way in helping you. You could set yourself up on a nice nest egg for the future if you just listen. If Matt tells you a duck can pull a truck, hook that MFer up, because that's the way it is. I'm telling you. So that's next week. Arizona Diamondbacks. Less than 4 weeks until the biggest fight since Tyson Holyfield 20 years ago. Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, and Canelo Alvarez on Cinco de Mayo. I'm trying to get some people together and have a pay-per-view over here, but wherever it is, I'm going to be there watching that fight, because Tyson Holyfield was 20 years ago. Obviously, the bite, many of you are going to remember that. It was a failure for a fight. It wasn't very interesting. I don't actually think this one's going to be very interesting. A friend of mine, Justin, put his money on Canelo Alvarez, which is one of the most amazing things, because a little side note, uh, Stephen A. Smith, who knows Mayweather very well, did interviews with him, did different things. They've spent a lot of time together. Reached out to Floyd and asked him to specifically not fight Triple G because he's not going to be able to match up with him. And you want to, excuse me, you want to get a big money fight, and that would have did it. Mayweather versus Golovkin would have been a great money-making fight, but the problem is Floyd couldn't stand up to Triple G. Triple G is a thumper for real, and anyways, Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman both asked Floyd to avoid that fight if at all possible, because that's not a fight you really want. Now, for those of you who don't know, that same Floyd Mayweather beat up on Canelo Alvarez, which is Alvarez's only loss, I believe, as a professional fighter. And so you have two boxing professionals, or one, and then Stephen A. Smith, who said, implored Floyd not to take that fight because Gennady Golovkin is too much for him. And you have these fans who believe that somehow Canelo Alvarez is going to be able to withstand Triple G's attacks, when in fact Canelo Alvarez already lost to Floyd Mayweather, who they asked not to fight Triple G. So I don't really know where that's coming from. I'm shocked that people say that that anyone believes that Canelo Alvarez can stand in less than 5 rounds. The fight will be over. They'll step in and stop it. Remember I said that in under 5 rounds they will step in and stop that fight, or he's just going to flat out knock him out. Triple G is the real deal. So less than 4 weeks to that. Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, pay-per-view, trying to get it together. So anybody that sees this, wants to watch the fight, hit me up. Tigers are off to a humiliating start, but then again, I already told you that they're going to lose over 100 games. They're terrible. I'm going to back that up a little bit. I'm going to go 72 and 90. They're not going to lose 100. They'll lose 90 games. They're awful. So the Detroit Pistons were eliminated from the playoffs this week. Shocker. I know a lot of you guys put all your eggs in Blake Griffin's basket, and stop. It's just embarrassing. Between the Tigers, the Lions, Pistons, it's hard to be in the state of Michigan right now. So all that next week, and we'll be back here next Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. We got Amp Campbell is coming up next. Enjoy one of the great comeback stories of all time. Amp Campbell, coming back from 2 broken vertebrae in his neck, comes back, and the comeback against Oregon was amazing. It's one of the most exciting things. If you don't remember it, YouTube it. Amp Campbell's coming up next. I am the host of Unsportsmanlike Conduct, Matthew Geller. I'll see you right back here next Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Until then,